Hi guys, welcome back. Matt Osborne here from MrLeica.com. This is a very quick overview video to introduce you to my new camera, a Panasonic Lumix S5. Now you may wonder, why as a Leica photographer would I want to buy a Lumix camera? For those of you that don't know, the Lumix S5 is very similar to the Leica SL series cameras and shares quite a lot of common features. One advantage of the Lumix is it's a lot cheaper, and it's also, you could say, more optimized for video use. I'll cover that in a second. Is this the end of Leica photography? Absolutely not. So stay with me and I'll explain in more detail how I plan to use this camera. The camera bundle I went for was the Lumix S5 with the Panasonic 20-60 f3.5 to 5.6 variable zoom kit lens. 20mm at the wide end would be very useful for kind of vlogging and that kind of thing. And this is obviously an autofocus lens, so it's useful for me recording on YouTube, but I'll also try it for photos as well. One advantage, as I mentioned, of this camera over the Leica cameras is the Lumix S5 has a pull-out flippy screen, meaning if I'm recording videos I can see myself without needing to buy an external monitor and all the additional equipment that comes with it. So if I take the kit lens off, I'll show you 7 ways I'm planning to use this camera. I probably won't use the kit lens much for photos, it's mainly for video. There you can see the 24 megapixel full frame sensor. Reason number 1, I use the Lumix S5 with fast maximum aperture Leica M lenses. An extreme example of this would be something like the Leica Noctilux as shown here, which has a maximum aperture of f1.0. That means unless the rangefinder camera is really well calibrated, it's not easy to hit focus at f1. Other Leica M lenses which I think will benefit from this system are lenses like the Leica Summicron 75mm f2 Apo and Leica Summicron 90mm f2 Preaspherical, the one I use. Wait till the end of the video, you'll see some example photos. The second benefit of using this system is I can use this adapter which allows me to use all M and LTM lenses close to the 0.7 meters or 1 meter, whatever their minimum close focus distance is. This is a fixed lens, the Voigtlander Heliar 40 f2.8, and the helicoid now allows me to focus it through the full range of motion. The fourth reason is this full frame EVF camera will allow me to use Nikon S mount lenses and also Contax RF mount rangefinder lenses using adapters which are not rangefinder coupled. You can get rangefinder coupled adapters, but there are lots of different lenses, so you end up buying a lot of adapters. So this is a much easier way to test a lens. I also plan to use some of my Nikon portrait lenses, the longer lenses, with this camera using a Nikon to LTM mount adapter as seen here. And then I use LTM to M mount adapter, stack the two adapters together. This lens is amazing for portraits. The sixth reason is to use really long telephoto lenses, or really long in Leica M terms. With Leica M cameras I tend to shoot 50mm or wider. If I take the adapter off I can show you. So this is a Leica M to Leica L close focus adapter made by 7 artisans. See the video. The seventh reason I'm looking forward to using this camera is I can try using Leica R lenses. Even as MrLeica, I've never used a Leica R lens in my life so far. So the question you may have for me is that the end of my Leica M photography and the Leica CL? The answer is of course no, this is just going to complement my existing cameras. For those of you interested in video or micro four thirds cameras, on the left you can see my new Lumix S5 and on the right you can see my existing GH5. The GH5 is micro four thirds whereas the S5 is full frame, but both cameras are very similar in size and the S5 is actually slightly smaller and slightly lighter. Both cameras are fitted with the Lumix kit lens which I use for video, and you can see there's a huge difference in terms of size of the lens between micro four thirds lenses and full frame Lumix S lenses. On the back of these cameras you can see the EVFs and you can see there's a lot of common features across both bodies. And to finish, here's a view from the top. Is it the end of my Leica photography? No, I'd say it's just starting to get more interesting. I can now take photos of the Leica CL, the Leica M240 and now the Lumix S5. Here are some sample photos shot with the Lumix S5 as black and white in-camera JPEGs. All of the photos you can see here are shot with the Leica Summicron 90mm f2 pre-spherical lens. And from my first photo shoot with this camera with model Zara, this camera is looking very promising, so exciting times ahead. Thanks for watching and stay tuned if you want to see lots of videos coming up. I'll be testing the Lumix with M lenses, I'll be testing the Lumix with R lenses, I'll be testing the Lumix with SL lenses, I'll be doing Lumix versus Leica CL, Lumix versus Leica M240, potentially Lumix versus SL cameras. So I'm really excited to see what this camera can offer as a Leica photographer, whether I'll be able to use it for photos or whether it's best kept for video. All that to come and more, so feel free to subscribe. See you in the next video.